Okay, here we go. So welcome everyone. Happy Monday. If you're if you're new to this group, I can't quite see who's on or who isn't. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to spend a few minutes between now and 12:15 flexing our mindfulness muscles, our proverbial mindfulness abilities, and I'll sort of add some flavoring here to the specific approach, at least the theme for today. I watched the Bob Dylan movie, A Complete Unknown, this weekend and really enjoyed it. And so I just did a little bit of a deep dive into Dylan and was watching interviews and so on. And at one point in one of the interviews, he was talking about how he can't write lyrics and songs the way he used to. And he described how these early songs were sort of, he described them as magically written. He just said these lyrics would just come to me. And, most of the time he just sat there sort of as surprised as, we would be when we would hear his songs. And it was just like, it just happened. I can't explain why that doesn't happen anymore. I notice it doesn't happen quite that way, but way back when it was just magical. And, if you think about, long ago, the Romans also talked about, genius. They would refer to genius as being these spirits that lived in the walls of whatever building you were in. And when the genius would visit you, it was literally as if a third party entity would visit you and inspire you to whatever, write poetry or have the mathematical inspiration, whatever it might be. But so I love this idea of just being cognizant of how when we're lucky, we're someone like Bob Dylan or the inspired poet who is receiving this download from somewhere, right? It's not something that he's waking up and is intentionally doing or manifesting. He's showing up for the process, but it's happening to him. So that's when we're lucky, it goes that way. When we're unlucky, it happens in the form of depression or anxiety or some, be it physical illness or something that happens to us, and then we're left holding this bag of stuff that feels challenging. It's just same but different. It's the flip side of that same coin. And so one of the things we can do to learn how to be with those experiences more skillfully is mindfulness. And specifically, I'm referring to activating this state of awareness. So being being in a place where we can see the mechanics of thoughts arising, noticing if they feel pleasant or unpleasant, stressful, sad, whatever they might be, but being really clear about the fact that these are experiences that are being sort of visited upon us rather than defining us completely. And so mindfulness is a way for us to keep practicing dropping into the space where we can see that process happen more clearly. So a state of active awareness where we intentionally pay attention to what's happening in the present moment and then just see it for what it is and notice if there's any judgments about, ooh, this is an uncomfortable thought, I don't like this, versus just sitting there saying, oh, there's a thought about a memory or whatever it might be from the past, and just being able to just be with it as if it were. It's almost like finding a balance between being with positivity and negativity in the same way. We're just going to be present for it. So easier said than done, but it's something we can practice. And let's spend some time today dropping into that so the basics of mindfulness. So start by closing your eyes and finding some stillness in the body's posture. Really slowing down, noticing the sensation of sitting, breathing, and just being still. In essence, what we're doing is we are deliberately focusing our attention on an awareness around what it's like to be in a body that has stopped moving. We're not walking. We're not doing anything other than just sitting quietly. And then noticing, what do the feet feel like when we're just sitting? What do the hands feel like? Pelvis and our legs and a long spine holding up the head. As we slow things down and become still, it makes it easier to notice some subtleties, such as our emotional being. What does it feel like to be you in this moment? Does it feel pleasant? Does it feel unpleasant? Probably notice that if we stay curious about this over time, that changes too. One moment might feel really pleasant, but something may shift and it may feel a little uncomfortable. Things are constantly changing. Things are also constantly changing in terms of the sensory experience in the body. Like little tingly sensations come and go, itches come and go, muscles tightening and loosening. It's all constantly changing. And yet there's a part of us that can just remain solid and aware throughout all of those changes. It's that continuity of consciousness and awareness that is the state of mindfulness. In the same way that physical sensations are coming and going, so too do thoughts and memories, and sort of mental activity comes and goes. If you get really curious and notice, where do those physical sensations or those thoughts, like where do they arise from? And then where do they disappear to when they're finished? Where do the thoughts come from? And then where do they go? I think this is what Dylan was referring to, is for whatever reason, for a period in his life, thoughts and the ideas that would appear for him were of the nature that, we all sit there and say, wow, those are amazing, beautiful, clever lyrics. He has no idea where they came from or why that no longer happens to him. And the same goes for our anxiety, our depressions. So it's constantly changing, and comes and goes, kind of appears out of nowhere and hangs out with us for a while, and then it disappears again. And yet, the part of us that gets to experience this or knows this is happening is timeless, is infinite, this consciousness is always there. It's expansive, it's unwavering. So, the point of this kind of a practice or a meditation is to just take a few moments every day to intentionally connect with that vast ground that is called consciousness. The foundation for every experience that we have. Home, home base. And it's always there. No matter what's going on, it's always possible to connect with this consciousness. And that can be really soothing and empowering. So many reasons to practice that. And take a deep breath in through the nose. Long, slow exhale through the mouth. Just breathing into the space. Letting go. Hold the exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another deep inhale through the nose. Let's exhale, relaxing the hands, the shoulders, the belly, the feet. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, open your eyes. And just noticing how as soon as you open the eyes, there's all this, additional visual input that's coming in. And it too is constantly changing. So everything is constantly in motion, yet in the background is this fixed um, spaciousness, I guess, that we could call consciousness. So anyway, hope that was helpful. Just a good little reminder. See you tomorrow, everyone. Take care of yourselves.